What's up, you friggin' losers? I'm back again with a guide to the Onslaught on Legend because apparently people are struggling with it, and it really shouldn't be that hard with a decent strategy and loadouts. Um, Obviously, as you can see here, I've cenotaph on. This isn't a video for the entire team comp. We just got done farming a bunch, and we only wiped once to trolling. The rest were really brain dead clears, just like joking around, shooting the shit. The main gist of it is 2 cenotaph warlocks and 1 Nighthawk hunter. Some people use Orpheus. We preferred the Nighthawk because A, our rockets nuked all the waves instantly anyways, and we didn't need the tether debuffs. And B, Nighthawk is super good for killing tormentors and other large threats. So I'll start with the Warlock. The main thing here is healing nades with Touch of Flame for ×2 resto. Obviously Imperia and Solus to keep your resto ×2 up as long as you can, and your Radiant for that matter, but mainly for resto. And then Benevolence, Torches. These combine really well because A, you're going to be healing and empowering with torches a bunch, so Benevolence will proc all the time, which is 400 times, not 400 times, 400% increase to your regen on your abilities. So you'll have almost infinite uptime on everything. You're not going to spam your stuff obviously, but like you'll throw a healing nade down, shoot a rocket, have 15 seconds of ×2 resto. And yeah, so that's the subclass. It's pretty simple. One big thing is they added shoot to loop back to retrace path, which is so friggin' nutty. So we can ditch the arc trace, which, you know what, rest in peace, it was the GOAT, but now that this is back with shoot to loot, it's not even a contest anymore when you're on Warlock. So there are multiple options you can go with loadouts with weapons. The main thing that will always stay the same is you'll have 1 galley and 2 apex. So that's the main thing. One of your warlocks will always be galley, and that's because you want your hunter to be on sunshot with heavy finder and scout, but we'll get to hunter later. So for your galley warlock, you have 2 options, okay? The first is what you see here, which is for more I guess advanced teams or like well coordinated teams. If you have someone that can already unstop, you can get away with running retrace for killing miners. You'll be spamming rockets at most ads anyways, so you clean up with the retraced. Supremacy is great for the yellow bars and obviously tormentors, which is the main reason why I want to run it. You could also run a succession. Obviously you'd want like Vorpal, not recombination, but this one's just in my inventory. But yeah, this loadout was super good with a coordinated team. If you're less coordinated and you all need to have unstop ready, god forbid a ogre spawns or whatever, then you'd want to switch this to Fatebringer. And then when a tormentor spawns, you could swap off your trace to a snipe. So for example, Last Foray or any other sniper that will be good for tormentors. So you can do that if you're not super confident as a team. This is obviously solid. Fatebringer does work on ads, it stuns unstops. Retrace path's also good for ads, and it's mainly just for cenotaph and shoot to loot. And then galley for mostly everything else. So those are your 2 galley loadouts. Both are very solid. This first one is probably easier to use than the second one with a coordinated team. Okay, so Apex. For the non-damage, because you can switch your loadout just before you start a boss and get a rally flag. So for the general play, I recommend Surrounded. Some people do Bipod or Explosive Light. I prefer Surrounded because it applies to the Wolfpack as well. That's 47% damage buff. And you just don't have to think about it either, right? It's just there if you're surrounded, and if you're not, you're still gonna kill stuff. So I like Surrounded there. Bipod's also fine, Explosive Light's also fine. If you want to just leave your bait and switch one on, it's probably gonna be fine. I wouldn't worry too much. But if you want to super optimize, I'd say Surrounded. Retrace path, you can switch to Sunshot and then run Finder Scout just to generate a shit ton of heavy with cenotaph, so you're like doubling down on your heavy gen. But you don't need to do this, but it's very, like I said, like the Fatebringer loadout, it's super easy compared to the double special where that requires a bit more team coordination. So I would say this is completely fine. And if your team is more coordinated, you can go retraced again for your general ad clear and forerunner for yellow bars, mainly the tormentors obviously. If you've done solo flawless Ron or just solo in general, you know how good this is versus tormentors. You could also use like Wither Horde and then switch to this with tormentor spawn, but I like to just leave this on to lower stuff for my hunter to kill. When you park them with this, lower them with this, and then your hunter kills. So again, those are your two options for Apex. It's either Forerunner, Retraced, Apex, or you can go to Trace up here, Sunshot, and Apex. Both are good. Again, you could just switch this to Sniper when a Tormentor spawns. But that's what I was doing. I was doing Supremacy, sorry, not Supremacy. I was doing Retrace, Forerunner with Apex. Artifact is actually important for this for, I guess, 4 or 5 of these. The main 3 are Blast Radius, Overload Rocket, and Argent Ordnance. Blast Radius means you'll basically have infinite uptime on Armor Charge for Argent Ordnance, which is a just free damage buff. So I highly recommend that. Overload's then the overloads that do spawn if you're on Fallen. What else is important here? Sunshot, Raised Precision is really nice. With the Trace it's fine too, but it's mainly for Sunshot loadout. Flint Striker for rapid solar kills or precision hits, which is solid. So those are the main ones. And then Wish into Being, when your well is ready to be used, you spawn a bunch of orbs. So that's the artifacts. Armor mods, it's pretty simple. Heavy Finder Scout with a Siphon, just generate a shit ton of orbs. If you're on double special, you can ditch these for like Dynamo to pop rifts near people to get well. You could do Radiant Powerful, but I think just leaving this on is completely fine, even with double special. It's not optimal at all, and it's kind of shit, but it doesn't matter because you're on healing nades, so you don't have Ashed assets value. Gloves, a harmonic loader for your Apex or Galley because you're going to be manually loading a lot. Impact Induction to get your healing nade back, and then Fastball. You don't need it with healing nades, but I just can't play without Fastball, so I leave it on. Chest piece, this could be surprising to some, but I run 1 reserve just to get to 10 Galley or 8 Apex. I find it's worth it to get more ammo in your scavs too. Concussive Dampener always, and then I don't know what's the optimal elemental resist. If I had to guess, it's solar, but you could probably even just do like a melee resist would be good. But I just had this and was fine. Boots, yeah, like this isn't perma boss fighting, right? So I just recommend scavs so you have max uptime on your rockets. If you're on the only just the like the hand cannon loadout, so you don't have a Forerunner or the sniper on all the time, you can trade this out for an Innervation or even like Absolution to get everything back. But since I usually run the double special loadout, I would just leave Kinetic Scav on, just so you're always topped up. That plus Lead from Gold on Supremacy is, you'll just have infinite ammo pretty much. Class item, special finisher, once in a while you get a finisher off. It's just free special for your team, which is good. Proximity Ward, this overshield can save your life, so I highly recommend it. And then I just run a bomber on just to get my healing nade back quicker if I need it. You could ditch the special finisher if you find you're not using it much for another bomber, or even like Reaper or Powerful Traction or something like that. But this seemed to be fine, and it's optimal for your like teammates if you want to generate special. So that's it for the Warlock really. TLDR, one Warlock is going to be on Apex, the other on Galley. Both will be on a Trace, obviously. If you're on the hand carry and a Trace combo, like if you're on Galley with Fatebringer, you would just switch this to a Sniper when a Tormentor spawns. And if you're on the double special, well, you're already set. So that's it for the Warlock, and I'll get into the Hunter now. Here's a look at a Nighthawk Hunter. I guess the subclass we'll start with. Knife Trick and Healing Nade. Kind of like not really using anything else there. Gunpowder Gamble and Knock Him Down, both great. If you can get used to Gunpowder Gamble, it's, in my opinion, it's really worth running. Not only does you have like weekend on the artifact mod this season, but it's just free damage in the kit. It can unstops too. Whereas obviously on your mark it feels really good, and if you don't want to have to worry about combat gamble, it's really nice to have the extra fragment slot. But if you can get used to combat gamble, my hunter friends swear by it. I don't play hunter that much, so I don't know for sure, but from the little I've used it, it's been pretty fun. But there's a learning curve for sure. Fragments are the exact same. Empyrean, Benevolence, Solace, and Torches. And for the same reasons too, right? This makes your resto chain and last longer. And then Benevolence gives you all your abilities back quicker, and Torches procs Benevolence and Radiant. So that's all the same. It's just a solid combo for slaying ads over and over. Supremacy for the yellow bars and tormentors mainly. This could also be succession, like I said. Or if you need some sort of overload for whatever reason, if your rockets aren't working, you can use Riptide, but highly recommend supremacy or succession. Sunshot, heavy ammo finder and scout, generate a lot of heavy, insanely good ad clear, easy to use, unstoppable hand cannon. It's kind of a no-brainer. And then Apex, because you're not the galley person, same spiel as before. For the mods, it's pretty similar. Heavy finder and scout with a siphon to generate orbs up the ass. Gloves, harmonic loader, and then impact induction and focusing strike. So whenever you do melee damage, you'll get your dodge back and your healing nade back. So that's kind of the chain there. And then you should have gamblers on, so you can get that back. Same thing here, concussive, resist, and harmonic. Like I was saying, I don't know which elemental is definitively the best, but maybe Arc First Fallen and Hive, I don't know. But I just have harmonic on it, seemed to work. Here, I dropped the other Cert or Scav, because you're only using one special weapon. So I put Innervation on to get my healing nades back quicker, because my hunter stats are kind of shit. You could put on even Surge if you wanted. I don't think it's that troll here. So you could do Surge here as well. I just prefer Innervation because there's so many orbs, so you'll get a shit ton of healing nades back. And those healing nades are important for those O moments. So you could do Surge there. If you do a Surge there, you'll want to replace Proximity Ward or Special Finisher with Time Dilation. I would probably just take off Special Finisher. But if you're on what I have on with Innervation, you can just focus on Special Finishing for green for your team. Proximity Ward because it could save your life when you're in a pinch, and it's good for a Special Finisher. And then Bomber to get your healing nade back as well. So as you can see, it's about getting your healing nade back, chaining it to stay at resto ×1. If your Warlock healing nades you, it's even better because you can stay at ×2. You want to Nighthawk the important targets, and you'll get it back really quick, just from precision kills and from your other abilities. Rocket kills, you spam your rocket, like I was saying earlier. It's all kind of the same, except you're just not using a trace. So that's it. You have your 2 cenotaph warlocks, one with a galley, and then you have your Nighthawk, and your other 2 are Apex. Sunshot's great for printing heavy on top of your cenos, but if you find you have a lot of heavy, one of your warlocks can do the double special I was talking about. The general things, like I was saying earlier, focus the same targets. Don't tunnel on getting your cenotaph finisher kills or whatever, like the final blows with your hunter. Like if you have to kill the ad because they're killing you as a warlock, just kill it. Like it's not worth the 1 brick. You'll be printing heavy. That's pretty much it. Keep resto going with Empyrean and Solace and everything. And just play as a team, and yeah, you'll be fine. It's really not that bad. Just please use cenotaph. It's borderline trolling not to use it in this kind of content. Same with like GMs and stuff. Like, don't use Sunbracers unless you're like solo. Don't use Vesper, even though on paper it seems it could be good. Don't even play anything but solar in general. But cenotaph especially is fantastic. So run cenotaph, run a Nighthawk hunter to kill the important majors so they don't one-shot you, and you'll be golden. So thanks for watching. Leave comments if you have any questions, I could do a more detailed like actual guide of playing the mode, but I feel like it's pretty straightforward, right? Anyways, leave questions in the comments below. I'll answer them. Make sure to sub, like. If I get 500 subs, I'll go to Timmy's and grab a little double. That's it. Later, skaters.